Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our preview for the Blacklist Season 10, Episode 20. Arthur Hudson, who is apparently number 2 on the Blacklist, seemingly, there's not a lot of other room for anybody else to be number 2 at this point. Like, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he's very likely the number 2, and as much as, like, there are other people that would have made more sense to be in that spot and just have Arthur Hudson just be Arthur Hudson, he doesn't really necessarily need to be on the blacklist at all. I mean, he does have an awful lot of information now. I mean, he's got Cooper on tape saying things that, should not be said to somebody like
Yeah.
Hudson. And he's got this information. I mean, he's the most dangerous person in the room right now. He has so much information. He has it as a recording. He can ruin their lives, take away their jobs, take away their put them in jail. I mean, like, he can really end things for people. So him at number 2, while it wouldn't have been who I thought, it now makes sense. He has so much information to just end them.
Personally, for me, I wish it was Nell Townsend. Just like, come on, if you're locked in a room with Townsend, Hudson, who are you going to be afraid of? It's not going to be the guy sitting over there being like, I am going to give a speech now. I look like a disappointed dad all the time. It's going to be that
like a disappointed dad.
It's going to be the crazy guy who like never sleeps and like wanders around in a robe. It just looks like he has like stolen all of our tinfoil hats.
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay, we're going to get into this Arthur Hudson episode, what to be afraid of. The promo, which seems to suggest that Reddington believes he is still like the Lord of the Underworld or something. But before we go further in all of that, if you guys do not know, we have a Patreon. You can check that out in the description below. We have all sorts of big exclusive discussions. Is Liz Keane still alive? What could the end game be for a lot of these characters? What do we know about the series finale? And that's all culminating with a Patreon live stream on finale night, July 13th. It's going to start over there around 7:45, 8 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to do our review of the series finale for YouTube here first, but that's around when that's starting. So check that out. Thank you guys so much to everybody who has.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody who has joined our Patreon and who has been over there having conversations with us. It really helps support the channel and it really helps support Matt and I. And, we really couldn't be doing this without you guys. So thank you.
Okay. Arthur Hudson. Let's just start with the promo because like that
All
gets
right,
me.
let's start with the promo because we have seen Reddington dismantling his empire, everything, all the last episode, all his information is gone. His information gathering gone into the ether. So like he really has given up all of his resources. And now they're in this situation where Arthur Hudson knows way more than he should. And how then is Reddington going to actually protect anybody or help anybody?
It's a really good question. He's not. Like, I don't think Reddington can accomplish that much anymore. He's in a very difficult position. He doesn't know everything that's going on with Hudson at this point. He doesn't seemingly know what's happening with Wrestler. But I think the question that I sort of have coming out of this promo in particular, because we have Reddington saying that particularly dark line at the very end of it, that, he can still be a very, very sinister person. I think he's going to learn in this episode that Hudson's everything he has up his sleeve. And I think it's going to sort of trigger Reddington in his head to be like, okay, it's time to take the mask off here for a moment. It's time to go full terrifying criminal mastermind Reddington. Because even without his empire, his resources, I would rather be in a room with Neville Townsend than be in a room with Raymond Reddington when he's mad, because we know it's just not going to last long.
No, I mean, he could take care of this situation by himself, but at the same time, I don't know that he's going to. I mean, he's changed in ways right now. We saw it sort of at the end of the last episode where he was talking a lot about ending that part of his life and moving into new beginnings. So is this just going to be like the last sort of hurrah for him of like criminal things that he needs to do to end things with Hudson? I mean, Hudson's not the only person that heard this information, and there is a recording of it. So like, even if Reddington was like, oh, I'll just kill Hudson. I mean, that doesn't actually stop this ball from rolling anymore. And that's why tinfoil hat,
All right, all right.
it's not what I want. I said this in the review, but I think that Reddington is going to end up turning himself in to save the task force. I think it's one of the only moves he has left. And I really hope it doesn't go that way. I would like to take an L on this. I really would.
I would like, even if it's just like on some technicality, like Hudson did not properly obtain the materials that he has obtained
He
for
did,
his.
though.
I am still gonna say the technicality. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just in denial that there's gonna be some sort of loophole that this is not going to work, and Reddington is gonna be able to ride off into the sunset. I will say, if he is gonna go down, I think him going down for the sake of the task force. There's a line in one of the earlier seasons of the show where he basically calls himself a sin eater, and it would be the ultimate sort of sin eater move where he sort of takes the brunt of everything. And if it does guarantee that, Cooper is still out there and Agnes still has a parent and that, these other people, Wrestler, Herbie, see, I know the latter two haven't been around that long, but Dembe, that like these people can go on and have a future. I think he would fall on his own sword for them at this point. Now, do I think he is going to exhaust every resource known to mankind first, that he's going to pull every rabbit out of his hat? Yes, I think he will stop at nothing to find a way to make sure that he doesn't have to turn himself in.
Yeah, I think he's going to try other avenues to be able to like stop Hudson from doing what he's doing. I don't know how else he's really going to be able to do that, because he's erased his immunity agreement, all of the information that was connected to them. I mean, is it possible that that's enough to sort of undo everything with Hudson? No, I don't think so. Like, it's just, there's too much of a confession there from Cooper. And that's the thing that I don't know how they get around. Like, how are they going to be able to stop this?
Panabaker? I'm just like throwing up Panabaker now
No.
because I have either distrusted
I was going
you.
to say she was the villain like last
Okay.
season, but now she's the savior.
I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna move faster than Sonic the Hedgehog with all the emeralds. Like, she's gonna save the day. Cynthia. See, I'm even calling you your first name. That's how much I believe in you. Cynthia, you can do this. Okay. Synopsis.
Let's talk about the synopsis. The end part of the synopsis is the part that I'm the most interested in, which is that Red is going to visit dear friends. And I think a couple of things are happening here for him. We've watched him dismantle his empire. He has said he's moving from this old life into a new life. We don't exactly know what that new life is. I think it's like one of two things. He's either getting ready to sort of go off and live a normal life somewhere, if that's possible, or he's setting himself up to go to jail and sort of take on whatever it is, that is coming his way for all the crimes that he did, if that's a possibility. So I think that he's going to be, visiting his friends to sort of say goodbye. I think that's why we've seen him this season spending so much time with Agnes and other people to really like have those final moments, because if he goes off somewhere else in the world, he needs to disappear. He's not going to be able to come back whenever he wants. He needs to say goodbye. And the same is if he goes to jail. He's not going to really be able to move freely around.
It's going to be a really interesting situation these past couple of episodes at the end of everything, because the spoiler TV reports are that the titles of the final episodes are Raymond Reddington and Raymond Reddington Good Night, which makes it feel like, okay, well then he really is like the target of the next investigation, that, he really is in that sort of danger. And if that's the case, this is sort of the Last Supper where everybody gets to be together and just sort of wondering, okay, who's got to be at this Last Supper then? Is it like, I think Weech has got to be there at this point.
Brimley.
Does Brimley bring a guest? Like, what animal gets to go to the final dinner?
A Rom.
Oh, Ram. Yeah, Ram needs to be there.
Yeah,
Paula was just there, so can
she
Paula.
can come back.
She can just stick around for that. I do want to see like a who's who of like a lot of people who have been in his orbit
Yeah.
over the years. Ilya, like that's probably not going to happen. I think Ilya's off in hiding somewhere else, but it would be nice to have somebody like that in there too.
Yes, it really would be. I mean, if this is his final goodbye to people, then, bring everybody in. All right,
Okay.
the rest of this synopsis is all sort of about Cooper, which is no surprise because he's the person who was really caught on tape by Hudson
Yeah.
saying what he said. And in a synopsis, it looks like he's going to be sort of caught on the defensive when he's, going to have to explain himself to the AG.
This is not going to go well. Like that's the only thing I can really say about it is just
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult because whenever he's had to talk about things, he's unable to really say anything because this task force is, private.
now how private does it get in this instance? Like when it's his own butt that's on the line? Like
It's not private anymore.
no, it really comes down to would anybody else do the same thing in Cooper's position? A man of principle who has done so much for the world. Was he corrupted by Raymond Reddington or was he just trying to get the job done?
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where he lands because Cooper's always been a very interesting character. He lives in a gray area and he always has where he will do bad things for the greater good of things, like working with Raymond Reddington to be able to have a greater good sort of thing, but he's still, in the dark pool over here with Raymond Reddington. So how is he going to get out of this? I don't know. I don't know if he can. We're at the end of the series.
3 episodes left, guys. Over just 2 weeks. This is going to be an emotional, bumpy ride.
Yeah, it's gonna be very emotional, especially watching Red go and say goodbye to people next week. I'm not even ready for
There's a
it.
slight chance we may be sobbing uncontrollably in the
Absolutely.
review. But okay, well, as we mentioned earlier, check out our Patreon for a lot of exclusive videos. Also, our live stream coming up on July 13th.
Yep.
That link is in the description. Thank you guys to everyone who is supporting us over there, and we'll see you here next time.